Dude.
Welcome to Two Dope Boys in a Cadillac. My name is Julius.
I'm Paul. What's up, everybody? A little hiatus there for a couple weeks, but we are back.
We're back.
Spring break is over.
Spring break is done, and you know what happened after spring break?
What?
Baseball, motherfuckers.
Baseball. Baseball. That's our jam.
That's our ish. I mean, I could talk about baseball all day.
We met each other playing baseball in high school many years ago, over 20 years ago. We still argue about baseball now. And
yeah, I mean, look at this.
We're going to argue about baseball for the next 30 minutes, probably. Yeah.
Go
Yankees fan. And if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. Hate watch me. Fucking don't watch. I don't care.
Whatever. So
Suck it.
Baseball. What's new with baseball? Well, rules. That's
rules,
for sure.
A new season.
Yeah.
It just started on Thursday.
Exactly. So real quick, new rules. And just to catch everybody up on it, I'm sure you already are. The bases are bigger. There's a pitch clock. If you break the rules on the pitch clock, it'll either give you a strike or a ball, depending on what side you're on. What's another major one that they did?
Shift.
Oh, that's right, the shift.
No shift.
Infielders got to stay on the infield dirt, and they can't cross over to the other half of the field. So with all that being said, in the first 3 games, and we filmed this on Mondays, by the way, so we've only been able to see about 3.5 games so far. But the games are about 25, half hour faster.
Shorter, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and go for it.
Now, I'll say, at first, when they've been talking about this for years. I wasn't aware until spring training that they were actually implementing it this year.
Right.
I wasn't a fan originally. I said, why don't you just take out 1 30-second ad in between innings? Shorter commercials, that will speed up the time.
Oh,
of the game.
yeah, because less money is what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to if you care about your audience or your consumers, like that makes it better for us to watch less commercials. But I will say, after watching a lot of games on opening day, seeing how much faster games are, and seeing how pitchers aren't just wasting time in between pitches, I'm with it. I love it.
I'm so about it.
Keep it.
The speed that these pitchers are throwing the ball, it's like video game status. I know everyone that I know, at least, that I'm friends with, have played some sort of baseball video game, before. And what is it? It's just pitch. The games just fly by. And that's exactly what's happening here. Before they changed the rules, I heard that, one thing that was slowing the game down was foul balls. There's a ton of foul balls. It takes some time. But what it really was that every time there was a foul ball, what happened? Batter step out,
new ball
do
to
the fixer glove, pitcher does a lap around the mound and spit and grab his dick and all
20, 30 seconds of just like downtime wasted.
So stupid. And I gotta say, one counter to the fast games are folks, and my pops was actually talking about this yesterday, where it's like, if you do see a popular team, you're spending a bunch of money. You're spending a bunch of money to go to the park. Do you really want to be rushed out of there? I mean, because you did kind of spend, a good amount of coin to watch your team and enjoy being at the park, because that's what baseball is. It's so different from any other sport. It's like you go to the field and you chill, you tell stories, you talk to the people you're with. You're not sitting there with face paint and fucking screaming the whole time. Well, at least, in the World Baseball Classic, other fans are doing that, which is really cool. But at least in America, that's how we enjoy the game.
People read fucking books. They bring
People
books.
read books.
People bring books to the park. It's going to the ballpark is just a whole experience in its own.
Yeah.
Like the game is almost like just the backdrop of like your social.
And
outing,
where I did notice that, because we have the Aviators out here and they're AAA, and they always test it out AAA first before they go to MLB. And there were a couple times last year where I remember going to the field, and all of a sudden it's like the 7th, 8th inning. I'm like, holy shit, we're almost out of here. So it is. I mean, I definitely felt the speed in AAA, but as far as like the couch fan, we don't have a pro team out here quite yet. And and I love watching. Right now they got on MLB.TV. They've got Big Inning, where it's almost like the Red Zone channel for baseball, and they're just like zooming to like different big key moments in the games, and it is just so much fun.
I didn't know they had that. That's
cool. Oh, God, you got to get in on that. That is so good. So, anywho, games moving quicker. I don't think we mind it. I think we dig it. And
I like it. I mean, a lot of people thought it was going to really hurt pitchers, but I don't think it's going to hurt pitchers that much. I think, if anything, it might benefit them.
Yeah.
Like moving quicker and keeping yourself in a rhythm as opposed to trying to play a mind game with the hitter by taking a long time. I think that benefits the pitcher more. Like, learn how to work fast. Like,
one thing I was thinking too with the quickness of this, and what we're talking is 20 seconds, and it goes a lot faster than what you think. Signals, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because one key part of baseball are the signals. The batter. Are you going to do a hit and run? Are you stealing? Are you bunting? Are you know what I mean? Like the signal to the batter, which they have zero time now. Like I don't even know if they're looking for signals anymore. And then also the catcher to the pitcher, the signal that you're going to give for them. Like, I think about the pitcher and the pitch sequence. That is something that you don't want to rush. You definitely have a game plan for how you're going to attack a hitter. But I don't think that's something you can rush, because if you do, you're going to make a mistake, and that guy's going to hit it, 400 feet. So, there's, but
you adapt,
and these guys, a lot of these guys have already been doing it in AAA anyways. So they already sort of they've got a handle on stuff. But enough about rules. So
what about the shift though? We didn't talk about the shift.
Didn't talk about the shift.
Are you a fan?
I dig it.
The no shift.
I
actually thought that you would hate the no shift.
Yeah, I don't hate it because it's giving baseball what it needed. It needed action. It needed more hits.
Yeah.
This weekend, there were more hits. There were more runs, so that helped the game. Where I don't like it is that, before they made this rule, you had a team that had their whole defense shifted to one side of the field. Well, God damn it, you're a Major League Baseball hitter. Hit the ball the other way. You know what I mean? Like, how could, they're giving you, the whole side. And these guys have become so one-dimensional. And I just think that they've de-evolved as hitters, because of that.
Yeah, so, true. That is something I always said, learn to hit it the other way. But to counter that, what typically has been happening, with the shift, what typically happens is pitchers just pound the inside. They try to play to the pull now. For a left-handed hitter.
But
so it's really difficult.
I hear you on that, dude, but
way.
They didn't. It's just that guys, no matter wherever the pitch was, that guy was going to pull it. Okay, that was the whole point.
I get it.
And if you threw him an inside pitch, he wants an inside pitch. He's a power pull hitter. You're catering right to what he wants. So I don't buy that. They just throw it on the inside. That's actually a bunch of malarkey.
Typically what would happen when there was a shift.
No, it's not, because you throw it on the outside corner and you roll over, and it's an easy ground ball to the other side. So I mean that, I hear you on
I think
that.
we both are kind of digging it though. I was on the fence about it. I kind of like it.
A few moments later.
And we're back. Technical difficulties.
Okay, I think we can wrap up. We were talking there, but one more thing with the rule changes that we're seeing a lot more of are stolen bases. The bases are bigger. It's buying the runners, I believe, 3 to 5 inches more or something like that. And also the pitchers can only pick off twice, I think. So
it was done, not the pickoff thing, but the bases, that was done as more of a safety measure.
Right.
The pickoff thing, I get that too. I don't like pitchers constantly throwing over.
Yeah.
Dude, twice is enough. Fucking just throw the ball to home plate. Let's go.
Well, the extra stolen bases, the advantage that's given these guys, it's fucking phenomenal. And actually, somebody looked up the fastest teams that are in MLB, which, all these teams knew this was going to happen, and they were going to have some sort of an advantage if they were to have quicker guys. But technically, the fastest team is the Phillies, followed by the Rays, the Guardians, the Rangers, the Orioles, and then we got the Royals and the Diamondbacks. And really, the only standouts there, I would say, are Philly, number one. That's great. The Rays are always in contention. Guardians made the playoffs. Rangers look like they might be doing something. So the top 5. They got
interesting.
Speed.
It'll be something to pay attention to if teams aren't necessarily hitting well, but they're getting enough of their fast guys on base to where they can manufacture runs.
Yeah.
But that's exciting. A stolen base is an exciting play. It's
absolutely
it's a bang play.
It's action, and that's the whole point of the rule changes, was to get the action going. One thing that people don't realize is football games are long as fuck. If you watch just one game, it lasts 3 hours. There's the halftime. There's a ton of commercials.
Yep.
It's boring. I'm sorry. To me, the only way I watch football is either live, thank you Raiders at Allegiant Stadium, and also the Red Zone channel. That's the shit, because Red Zone channel, there's no commercials. They're just bouncing around. So you never have to deal with, listening to, insurance commercials or Burger King or whatever, for, for an hour and a half of those commercials. So anywho, rules are out. That's great. Who are the standout teams so far? We've got 3 teams as of the time that we are recording that are undefeated. We've got the Rays, the Twins.
They're now 4-0.
Rays are now 4-0. Twins 4-0 as well. And we got the Rangers. So only 3 undefeated teams. The Rangers are technically losing right now as we're filming on Monday. Are you any surprises out of those 3?
I mean, not really. It's so hard to judge early in the season in baseball because they play so many games that they start hot, they start cold. Like you could start 0-5, 0-10 even and like recover from that. But so the Rangers, that's an interesting one because they should have been a lot better last year.
Yeah.
They added Jacob deGrom, who like at his best is the best pitcher in baseball. One of the best pitchers I think we've ever seen.
Absolute stud.
Who also got shelled in his first outing with the Rangers.
Rangers are undefeated, and the pitcher that has the highest ERA is Jacob deGrom on their team.
Last season, they added Simeon and shortstop. Why can't I think of his name? Corey Seager.
Yep.
Now they're hitting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think 27 runs their first 2 games, like pretty impressive. See if they can keep it going. It would be nice for that division if all the teams played to their potential. That would be like a really fun division to watch.
It could be, nothing like the AL East, but they could like pretend they're that good. Like
we're almost like the AL East guys.
But the reason why the Rangers out of these 3 teams really stand out to me is because the Rays played against the Tigers, they suck. Twins played against the Royals, garbage. They're still rebuilding. And the Rangers played against the Phillies. They swept the Phillies, who were in the World Series.
Yeah.
Now Philly, they are having a little bit of a World Series hangover, and they've lost some guys too. They lost Zach Eflin to the Rays. They lost Rhys Hoskins to I think he tore his ACL or his MCL or one of those. And Bryce Harper had Tommy John surgery, so he's not going to be back for another month or so. So, they're dealing with some roster issues. So I can understand them starting out a little slow. For sure.
They did add Trey Turner.
Yeah,
probably
huge bat.
But probably the best shortstop.
And speed. My God, that guy's fast. You talk about speed.
He's a stud, man. He hit like 15 home runs during the WBC, which was awesome, by the way.
That is pretty rad. So the Phillies now are going against the Yankees, and I think they were losing that game last I saw.
Yankees right now are up 8-1.
8-1. Okay, so the Phillies are going to start at 0-4. Wow. Rays are playing against the Rays. Have like the easiest start of the fucking season ever. They opened up with the Tigers. They're now playing against the Nationals, just beat them in this game, and then they've got the A's on the weekend series. Come on, that's cake.
That is cake.
Thank you.
But you know
MLB.
what? Yeah, I mean, getting off to a hot start, but we already knew that they were going to be a pretty good team.
That starting rotation is next level. I'm sorry, and the world's going to know it. The Twins, they're going to go against the Marlins. That should be pretty easy.
The Twins, I do believe, were winning. Today.
Yeah, they won.
The Twins they won 11-1. Easy.
All right. So as far as the standouts, those undefeated teams, I see the Twins still doing some things.
I think we both probably think they're for real. Like they should have been. They started out pretty well last year and then fell off a little bit, halfway through the season.
Well, in that division too, who are they going against? I believe the Guardians won the division last year. They're going to be constant. That's a decent team, and I love their coach. Good old Terry Francona. You can't go wrong with him. And then, the other team that I would worry about is the White Sox. But they have a new coach. They're trying new things over there. I don't know really what the White Sox are going to do.
They were last season. Did you see there was 20 different points where they were exactly at 500?
Really?
All year. They're just the most average team that there's ever been. It's they were 30-30. 35-35.
Yeah.
37-37.
Just can't
can't quite get over the hump, but they don't really suck.
You're not good, but you're not
the rest of the division, the Tigers are awful.
Yeah.
Awful. Awful. 40 wins, baby. Bad.
If Miguel Cabrera is still starting, on your team, I think that says a lot. That dude is so over the hump. Well, that's essential. Okay, so I think this leads us to the next one where, you won some money this weekend, which is great. And I'd like to, kind of break, just kind of ask you what you do, as far as when you're gambling on baseball, because it's a little different, compared to other sports and, point spreads. Really, the only kind of runs you're getting in these games are 1.5. It doesn't really go too much higher than that. So those
are usually like alternate lines too. Usually you just bet the money line in baseball. So you're basically just betting whoever wins. Mm-hmm. But you can bet, usually the favorite, you can get better odds if you bet them minus a 1.5. So they have to win by 2, which I've been burned on the fucking run line. How many times? The dogs, you can take worse odds, but you get, they can still lose by 1 and you can win. Typically, the thing you look at is the starting pitcher.
It's the pitching matchup.
It's hard early in the season because you really bet baseball on streaks because baseball is such a streaky game.
Ooh, I like that.
It's such a streaky game. Teams get cold, they get hot. You know, teams will run off 18 out of 20, and then they'll lose 10 of their next 15.
5 in a row, really. Yeah, that's I think you really hit on something there. That baseball is streaky. Because there are so many games. And there can be a run where guys are just hot. They're just hot. You can't explain it. They're just they're hitting, they're pitching. They're getting on base, whatever. And riding that hot streak, I kind of like that. We're gonna look out for that.
Like when hitters start, they hit like 500 for a 20-game stretch, dude. Like, watch out. Like, it's fun. It's fun. I remember Aaron Judge he had like multiple stretches last season, but he went through like points where he had like 20-game stretches where he would hit 500 and 18 home runs in 20 games, just like
unbelievable.
Out of this world. But
unfucking believable.
So, kind of a funny story about like betting opening day. Mm-hmm. We were at my buddy's house, and he has extra innings on, I think, on DirecTV.
Okay.
So it's like the baseball package, basically like the same thing as like the football one. And when you're on the homepage, you get every game that's on. So we had 8 games on, and so my friends, like a 65, 70-inch fucking TV. My buddy's girlfriend is there, and she's like, "Why do you need to have all these games? Like, what's going on?" She's like, "Are you betting on all of them?" And he's like, he looks at it, he's like, "Well, I got the Twins, I got like this, that," and he's like, literally all 8 games. He's like, "Yeah, I got action on every single game." It was so much fun, man.
It's like his own sports book.
I hit a 3-teamer. Two games I had the Pirates opening day. They were down only by 1, but they came back and won. And the Rangers were down 5-0, and like just watching them come back, man. There's nothing like baseball, like comeback in baseball and just hit after hit after hit. It. Just because like it's a game of failure. Like good hitters hit 300, they get 3 hits in every 10 at bats. So seeing like a team like just catch fire,
absolutely,
get like 6-7 hits in a row, especially when you bet on them, it's fucking fun.
That's the funnest ever. So as far as me and gambling on games, I think there's just sometimes teams that, that you got to go against what the public thinks about them. You got to fade them. The public really likes them, but in reality, they're not that good. And one of the teams that I feel is like that are the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays have a lot of hype, haven't done shit. I believe they went to the playoffs last year, but in a pretty tough division. But as far as this year and repeating it, I don't know, man. Like, that's just the Orioles are better. The Rays, I feel like, are the same. They're going to be hot. Yankees, I feel, are the same. Mariners are getting better. I mean, just go down the whole the American League.
If the Twins don't fall apart again.
So for them to make that wild card, because I don't think they're going to win the division, that's going to be tough. And the Orioles last year, by the way, they almost got in. That was a sneaky good team. And guess what? They all came back. They're all hella young. They've all played with each other, coming up through the system.
If they can get the
Orioles are sneaky good.
If they can get their pitching sorted a little bit, like they got some bats, man. They got some young kids that are good. They got studs. They got dudes. They can be a good team. The Blue Jays, they're talented. Yeah. I think I was telling you before, like Vlad Guerrero Jr. He hits the shit out of the ball, but man, he is fucking fat.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy. And bro, your career's not going to be very long if you don't start taking care of yourself.
Well, there was another big boy that had a dad that was in the league that hit homers, and his name was what was his name? Prince
Fielder.
Prince Fielder.
Cecil Fielder's son.
That's right. And
the difference is Cecil Fielder was also fat. And Prince Fielder came into the league fat.
So he could last longer because his pops, the DNA was there.
Maybe. Vlad Sr. was a pretty fit dude.
Yeah, well,
he played for a long time. I mean, dude, Vlad Jr. he hits the shit out of the ball. He's a good player.
He's great, but you know what? This offseason, I don't know if anybody caught it, but he was talking a little shit to the Yankees.
He talked shit. They've all been talking shit, and it's like, man, like not even as a Yankees fans, like, can you like let them know that they're in your head rent free? Because the Yankees have, I don't want to say own them, but they beat them like 2 out of 3 games, like most of the time.
You know what team the Yankees have owned in the playoffs in my recent
the Twins, yeah.
Anytime the Twins play against the Yankees just destroy
I don't think
them.
the Twins have beat them in a playoff game since before I can remember. Maybe ever, honestly, because every time they played them, it's been a sweep.
Yeah. Well, in another team that it's not that they're under the radar, but I think they could definitely do some damage are the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And it's really with their bats. You know, they have incredible hitting in that lineup. Young hitters, fast guys, strong guys. Their defense is good. The one thing that they're lacking, though, is the pitching, which gets a little tricky, especially, I think, for playoff time. I think they're going to do really good during the regular season, but, you know, in the playoffs, it's all about pitching. You have to have the arms. And right now, SP1 for the Cardinals is Jack Flaherty, followed by Jordan Montgomery, Jake Woodford, Steven Matz. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is this? Adam Wainwright is hurt. He'll be coming back, but he's old.
He's old as hell.
So, and Jack Flaherty, by the way, not that he's a nobody. In 2019, he threw 196 innings, had 231 strikeouts. That is pretty fucking good, you know. Yeah. So that guy,
he throws gas. He throws. He's a stud. He's like a legit ace.
Yeah, he could. She should be, you know, SB1 over Miles Mikolas, but man, you know, he has to get hot. Wainwright needs to do something, and if Miles is
their bullpen too, man. Like that's in the playoffs. That's equally as important as your starting pitching.
Absolutely, but you know, as far as tossing down some money, I think maybe with the Cardinals, you take the over because I think they're going to put up a lot of runs, and also the pitch is not that good. So
they have two Hall of Famers that are still playing like at peak level. Like I know Goldschmidt is, I think, in his mid-30s now, but he's still like he just won MVP.
Goldschmidt found something last year that I don't think is going to go away for at least another 2 or 3 years. I mean, his stroke, his confidence, that ballpark. I mean, the support he has in the lineup too. You know, that's something that's really important in baseball as well. Is like, yeah, you can have a stud hitter, but if there's no other studs surrounding him, pitchers can just pitch around him. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to face him. You know what I mean?
You've seen it with guys throughout the years that are good hitters, but then like you put somebody that can hit behind them.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're getting more fastballs, like Cabrera, like basically Miguel Cabrera. Once they got Prince Fielder, that's when Cabrera won
the Triple Crown.
Won the Triple Crown. Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome.
And a couple MVPs, I think, back to back. He went, pretty sure.
Triple Crown.
Or Ohtani with Trout hitting behind him. I think, or is Trout hitting in front of Ohtani?
I think in front.
Either way, like that's another team to talk about. Like, man, why are the Angels like not ever good? I don't get it. They have like the 2 best players on earth.
They are horrible with contracts. I feel like they have bloated contracts to very average players, and it hurts them because they run out of money and they can't really like focus it on good talent. You know, like they just spend a fuck ton of money on average talent, and it bites them in the ass. And Ohtani's he's not going to stick around. This is the last year Ohtani will be on the Angels. I'm saying it right now. Where
it's hard to imagine. He's going to get, I think, $500 million.
Oh yeah, he'll be the highest paid player.
If I had to guess, the Mets are the team that's going to. Because Steve Cohen has shown
he does not give a wild card for you.
He does not give a fuck. Yeah, but Steve Cohen has shown he does not give a fuck.
Cohen will throw the money.
He's a Mets fan. And he's like, his money is just a toy. He doesn't care. He's got so much money.
Care.
Like, what's $500 million? I got like $50 billion. I don't care.
Like what? Tax?
To get Ohtani?
I don't give a fuck. I like that. I like the Mets. Anything New York, really, Yankees or Mets. But because he hails from Japan, the Mariners, man, that could be like a dark horse.
You think they would throw that much? You think they would?
Fuck yeah, they got Nintendo money, homie. Like those, the owners of the Mariners are connected.
The same
to
guy
Nintendo.
that owns the Blazers, right?
No,
or did he sell the Mariners? Or he sold the Blazers?
No. He was the Seahawks. He was the Seahawks and the Blazers.
Oh, what? Okay.
Paul Allen. He's dead, by the way. All right, so
R.I.P.
Looking forward to the weekend series, since we're talking baseball, here's some matchups that I think you all should be looking out for coming up. We've got Astros at Twins. I think that's going to be great. Are the Twins really that good? We'll see. The Astros are starting out a little slow.
Yeah, they started out slow last year too, and it's hard to like disc as much as I fucking hate them. Like, they've been the best franchise.
They've got
in
bats. They've got
arms.
They'll be fine. No Altuve. I don't know how long he'll be out. Rangers at Cubs. That one's interesting. You know, like Rangers.
The Cubs might not be bad either. I think they're still in rebuild mode, but you know, they could be like the Orioles were last year and kind of get some steam. Sometimes rebuild mode, like you're in rebuild mode and all of a sudden you're good. Yeah. And that's kind of what happened to the Cubs in like 2015. Because remember, it was like, oh, dude, this team's going to be really good in a few years. And 2015, all of a sudden they're in the NLCS. Yes. And then they win the World Series the next year.
Well, there's something called chemistry. And I think in baseball, chemistry is huge. And if that locker room, that clubhouse, if they love each other, they got each other's back. That really, it really shows each other's energy. Because
it's like funny because chemistry on the field isn't like as big as like basketball or football or hockey, where people are like reading each other's next move.
It's a different kind of chemistry. It's just totally different. Yeah. M's at the Guardians. So Cleveland went 3-1 in Seattle to start the year out, and these guys are already playing against each other. So that'll be interesting to see if the Mariners can get some of those games back now on the road. So we'll see, because that squad, you know, they're supposed to be doing some damage.
Yeah, they made the playoffs last year.
They made the playoffs for the first time in 20 years. They were
since they won 116 games. They won 116 games, lost the ALCS, and then didn't go to the playoffs for 20 fucking years.
Fucking believable. So yeah, they need a bounce back series against Cleveland. I got Cards at Brewers. That's a
good one, man.
That's rivalry right there, man. So that goes old school. And the Brewers, I think, are starting a little slow. We'll see where they end up.
I think that division most likely comes down to those two teams. Yeah. Did the Brewers won last, or did the Cardinals win?
I think the Cards. No, the Cards took it. Yeah,
they took it. Yeah.
They got hot. Cardinals got hot.
Yeah, they got hot because I remember a lot of people were picking them to go to the World Series because they got hot late, and I think they flamed out in the division.
The Brewers, what the Cards don't have, the Brewers do have, and it's two stud fucking pitchers. And then we got Blue Jays at Angels. Hey, are the Blue Jays as shitty as we think they are? Well, if they lose against the Angels, then yeah, they're pretty shitty. So.
Or are the Angels finally going to take advantage of having two Hall of Famers, two of the best baseball players to ever live, in their primes right now,
in the same team lineup, bitching, hitting?
Like, it drives me nuts because I don't even like the Angels. It's like, man, this team needs to be in the playoffs at some point. Like, make the fucking playoffs. Like, you've got Ohtani, who is as good as any pitcher on the planet. Yeah. And he might not be the best hitter, but he's one of them.
Top 10 hitter. I'm sorry. My God. So, yeah.
He'll hit 35, 40 home runs.
If the Angels don't do it, they should probably just get rid of the team. Just sell
Honestly, sell them to Vegas. Just, give them to Vegas. We'll have two teams. Let's have the A's and the Angels.
Just come on.
Two teams in the same division in the same city.
Oh, that's great. So that kind of wraps up our baseball talk. You want to get nuts?
You know what? Let's get nuts.
All right. You want to get nuts? Come on. Let's get nuts.
Okay, so we're getting nuts. We're going to talk about some women's college basketball, but real quick, the men's championship game is going on right now.
Going on as we
talk. 10. It's been a pretty fun tournament on the men's side.
Oh, totally.
I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's not good for college basketball because it's not the Blue Bloods." Like, so fucking what, man? It's kind of fun. Like, it's fun to watch teams that aren't Blue Bloods. San Diego State, by the way, has been in the tournament like, I don't know how many consecutive years, like probably 15 of the last 16 years. Like, they are as close to a blue blood as you could be without actually being one.
What is incredible that we're seeing more and more in the men's game is the NIL, the name, image, likeness, the transfer portal, where guys are able to transfer to any school they want without sitting out. And you're starting to see the talent is really spread across the nation. And that's why we're seeing a number what? 4 UConn and a number, what's San Diego State?
5.
A 4 and a 5 in the freaking national championship.
Those two schools, they recruit program builders that are going to be there for 3-4 years. That are going to be there. They're not one and done. These are guys that learn how to play together. Older guys, seniors that teach freshmen when they come in, and they play as cohesive units. Not that the one and done model never like worked, because it did like with Kentucky and stuff like that. There's outliers, but
when you have like Anthony Davis and
when kids are already in their mind, they got one foot in the door to the NBA. Sure, they want to win a national championship, but it's not really where their heart's at.
They're not really, for
not
sure.
Where their heart's at.
And there's something about continuity. You know, we were talking about chemistry earlier, and just like what you said, when you are building a program that you're going to have guys involved in there, you know, for multiple years, that builds chemistry.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
for
That
sure.
builds, you know, something that you can win with. So, but I mean, we're getting nuts.
Let's get nuts.
We're talking
women's
about
college basketball.
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and the John Cena and the
Caitlin Clark with one of the most unbelievable tournament runs
unbelievable
ever. 2 40-point games, 30-point game in the championship. She's like LeBron James dragging the fucking Cavs to the championship. It's like, did anyone else on her team do anything?
No.
I wouldn't know because I didn't watch.
I didn't watch any of these games, and we're still talking about it because the only thing that people were talking about was after the game. What's Angel Reese doing the "you can't see me," pointing to the ring, and this was after the game was over. You know, and this is
when it was like kind of decided, like towards the end when it was decided, like they knew they were going to win.
But you know what cracks me up about this, and where I'm going to get nuts, and I don't care if you don't like it or not, but you know. It's sort of sad and pathetic that the only thing we're talking about after the national championship game is what somebody did when the whistle was blown. I mean, does that say how much we don't really give a shit about women's basketball? That no one's talking about the game, no one at all. Like what awesome highlights were going on, or how LSU dominated the boards, or anything like that. No. They're talking about the drama, and that's the only thing that we care about. It seems, you know,
but it's better. It's probably better for women's college basketball, honestly, because it's got people talking about it. How many people are talking about the women's championship game the day after?
But in a good way or a negative way, you know, we're talking about something that's not necessarily.
I don't know if it's even
negative.
Like, I don't know if it's even negative though, because like, is it that bad that she did that? Like,
I mean,
I was watching with my daughter, and I didn't like it. I didn't even know this was a thing on Twitter, to be honest. But I was like, that's not how you play. You don't do that.
Well, here's the thing that's been going on Twitter, because, of course, now it's being turned into a white-black thing, because Caitlin Clark did this, and everyone seemed to be fine with it. But as soon as Angel Reese did it,
she did that.
It's just like, oh, well, she's a thug.
From what I saw, I didn't watch any of the games. Caitlin Clark did that to her bench, like her team, like looking at her team. She wasn't trying to taunt anybody, I don't think.
That one, no, because ESPN, and I found this out, you know, like looking it up, they even did a little, like a short, like a little special on Caitlin Clark and how much she talks shit to other players.
Oh, no,
you know
I saw her talking shit too. She said something to it. There was another player, I think in the Final Four game or the game.
There's no denying she talks shit.
Yeah.
And what happened, Angel Reese, even after the game, said, I don't like how she disrespects other players, so I'm going to disrespect her. That was her thing, you know? But my thing is, why didn't you do it during the game? Like, why did you have to wait to the very end? To me, that's a little classless. You know, it's like, dude, you won the fucking thing. That's the ultimate talk shit right there. You won. You know, why do you have to go the extra mile, follow her as she's walking to the bench, you know, just losing the national championship?
Talk shit during the game when it's not decided
talk
yet.
Shit during the game. You know, like, to me, like that's a true shit talker. You know what I mean? Like, a true shit talker will say it as you guys are going back and forth. You know, like, that's when you talk the shit. Not after, you know, you've already won. Or maybe you talk shit before, you know, like the UFC guys, they do that shit all the time, you know, talking crap. And boxers, they've done that, you know, to hype up the game, you know, get a lot of people like involved. Where were you, Angel Reese, before the game? You didn't say shit, you know what I mean? Like, it was almost like you wanted to make sure you had the protective cover of the win, and then you were going to say something. So to me, you're not a true shit talker. So whatever. One thing I will say.
I changed my mind. Fuck Angel Reese.
We're getting nuts. And as far as the NCAA tourney itself, this was the most watched game, and it was the first time for women's national championship that it was broadcast on ABC. So it was on cable and it was on you know, regular TV, which I think helped out the viewership. But if we're kind of comparing other things that people watch. Thursday Night Football, which nobody gives a shit about, which usually is the worst matchups ever.
This is gonna hurt. What is it?
Their average viewership last year was 16.7 million people. That's almost double. I would say it's like 70% more than what the NCAA did. So, and also, that's not on regular TV. You have to have a fucking Amazon Prime membership to watch.
That's true.
That.
Which, if you don't have an Amazon Prime membership at this point, like,
so you know what? I'm glad the girls are you know, the most people watched it. I don't think it was because it was going to be that good of a game. Honestly, I think gambling has changed everything. Gambling is basically legal in every single state. All across the board, viewership is up. And I think that's because folks are throwing money down on it. And it doesn't matter if it's a girl or a guy, they're fucking throwing money on it. And I think that's what happened on this game the other night. So that's what I got. You got anything else, bud?
I think that's it, man. We got the Masters coming up. If you like golf, obviously fun. It will actually be fun with the live guys playing. I think there's 18 live members that are playing, so we'll see what happens.
Follow us on social media, and we'll be talking shit about the Masters too.
Like, subscribe, hate watch,
whatever
you got to do. Dislike, whatever you got to do.